Now, jobless claims shattering another record. That's not a record you want to shatter for the second week in a row. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits spiked to 6.6 million people. That's more than 10 million jobs lost in 2 weeks. It is horrific, and it's demoralizing. And there are real lives and real people behind every statistic. But my next guest says America has the ability to come out of this stronger than ever before. Joining me now is Mark Cuban, entrepreneur and star of the show Shark Tank. All right, Mark, first of all, I'm a massive fan of Shark Tank.
Thank you.
We need Shark Tank. We need Shark Tank thinking right now. But how people are really down, I've got to tell you. I'm getting emails, people are so down for a whole bunch of reasons, but a lot of them related to not being able to go to work or their children go to school.
Of course.
What needs to happen coming out of this?
You know, we're going to go through a reset. I don't know when we're going to get from America 1.0 to America 2.0, but we'll get there. And what needs to happen is we have to realize that we are the most entrepreneurial country in the world, that we're a country full of people who are going to start businesses, and that's what's going to lead us through all of this. Somebody has a vision out there of what we're going to look like on the other side. And when we look back in 5 years, we're going to realize that there are 5 or 10 or 25 amazing companies that were started that just changed the world and led us through all of this to a brighter future.
Of course, Mark, what a lot of folks are talking about is our reliance on China for basic necessities. Things like generic drugs, a lot of these just anti-inflammatories, a lot of the supplies that we don't have. We have to go begging and scraping and bowing to a communist country that subjugates its own people and lies about a disease to be able to get our own stuff. Like, what has to happen on that basic level?
So there's 2 questions there. One is, what do we do in general? Because we're seeing a lot of our supplies for PPE not being available and us being dependent on manufacturers in China and around the world. The first thing we need to do is start investing in the future of manufacturing, not try to recreate what we did in the past, but looking towards robotics and software and automation and AI in such a way that we can just dominate that area. You know, a lot of people are concerned that if we don't do it the old way and have manufacturing lines, and we won't have enough employment. But there's so much intellectual capacity here that I think really we can take robotics to a level where we bring back almost all that manufacturing and create a surplus of jobs. But we have to focus on that. And when we look at an infrastructure bill, I truly believe it's got to be infrastructure 2.0, where we focus not just on redoing streets and roads and bridges, but focus on robotics and future technologies so we can define and take over in the future.
And that means that American companies, Mark, does it not? They also have to think patriotically, too. Yeah. And people hear the word nationalism, they think, oh, that's scary. I get what they're saying, but this is just, we need to heal. If we don't heal ourselves, we're not going to be worth anything to help other people, because people are going to say, to heck with this. I'm not going to worry about any other country or wars. We're not going to fund the military until my kid can learn to do robotics in school. They're not going to want to do anything. So what about that aspect of it?
This is just good old-fashioned capitalism with some support from the government. You know, we invested in NASA. We wanted to go to the moon. You know, the president wants to go to Mars. When it comes, we invest at the NIH, National Institute of Health. Most of the single molecule drugs that come out of there lead to the biggest discoveries that our pharmacy companies have. It's not unusual for us to invest in technology to lead the way in the world. And that's what we have to do. You alluded to drugs. Most of our drugs come from China and India. They're not well conceived, and we have to take that back over. But this, again, this is what capitalism is all about, and this is why I know we can make it work.
And Mark, what are you doing for your many, many employees during this difficult time? I know we all employ people. You know, I'm lucky enough to not have as many of you to have to worry about, but I'm keeping my employees on. You just have to. If you can, you just have to. And
good for you, Laura. I mean, with the Mavericks, even though the NBA season's been suspended, we continue to pay them as if we're continuing to play. I have a restaurant in LA. We're paying the barbacks, the bartenders, the waiters, the waitresses, everybody as if we were still open. And we're doing that for our other companies as well. For those people who can afford it, it's just the right thing to do.
And do you think this stimulus, a lot of people are calling me up saying, I know they had to do something, but it's not getting to the small businesses, the businesses that don't make that 500-person cap. They're worried about being able to pay their rent, pay their commercial real estate loans and so forth. Are you worried about that?
No, actually, I thought it was a great move. I give the administration a lot of credit. If you own a small business with under 500 employees, or even if you own a franchisee that's part of a larger organization with more than 500, you need to go right to SBA.gov right now and then go to your bank at midnight, because that's when it opens up. And so any company with under 500 employees, the government will pay your payroll for the next 3 months. And if you don't fire anybody and possibly hire people, you don't have to pay it back. That's the best deal ever offered in the history of business.
All right, Mark, it's great to see you. Come back soon, okay?
Thanks. I hope so. Thanks, Laura.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
You take care.